Welcome back to No Offseason. I'm Hutch. Last year was my first year playing Dynasty, and today I got into my 98th Dynasty team. It was an auction team today. I thought it went pretty well. So you see all these Dynasty teams. So last year, in my first year, it kind of felt like I drafted like super wide receiver heavy, and everything that I learned, I decided I'm gonna change it up this year. So last year, let's kind of show you how I used to draft last year. So I'm here at the 107. I take Malik Neighbors, Puka, JSN, and T. Higgins. 4 wide receivers off the back. One of my flaws last year was believing in J.J. McCarthy. I believed heavily that Kevin O'Connell was going to get that offense running regardless of the QB in the back. So last year, it took a lot of Penix, a lot of McCarthy. Definitely would have had my teams looking different, but you learn. Tyrone Tracy here, Joku. Got the kicker spots for the rookie draft. In these leagues, the position that you take a kicker is, the place that you get in the rookie draft. So if you take the third kicker, you're picking at the 103 in the draft. Nothing else crazy here. But yeah, Malik Neighbors here, JSN, T. Higgins, kind of all wide receivers right off the bat. And I don't feel like my wide receiver teams did that well. I think this team was pretty bad. Where we at? Nope. Previously, league standings. So right on the cusp, 15 and 13. So not that great. Another team that I'll show kind of how I liked to draft last year. Marvel Dynasty League. Where I'm at. So I'm picking at the 109 here. I take Justin Jefferson. I trade up a spot to get Puka. I was at a 2-3. Take Ladd at the 3-4. And here we go. So Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy. One of my flaws, I would say, as being first year Dynasty player last year is there's some guys I believed in and it kind of didn't turn out good. So those teams didn't go that well. So, taking Michael Penix here at the 4-9, followed by J.J. McCarthy. Both of them had down years last year, so those teams didn't do that great. But we got Jordan Addison here at the 6-9. I'm not sure if this is part of a trade from before, but Terry McLaurin. And then the running backs I was getting was like Joe Mixon and Dave Montgomery. Kicker spots for the draft. Aaron Rodgers down there. Parker Washington. Yeah, nothing else crazy, but I was played a lot of best ball before I started playing my first Dynasty, so I had that hero RB mindset there. I think this team did even worse. League. Nine and 19. So yeah, last year it's kind of like an idea of how I was drafting, really. But I felt like some of my best teams that I had last year had elite running backs So I took that from last year, and this year I was like, all right, I like the way my teams that had elite RBs were built. I liked my teams who had the elite running backs. So yeah, I did 45 leagues last year. And this is the first league that I drafted in this year. So I mean, it's pretty early after the NFL season ended. So not all the information that you have today we had back then. So I definitely was going into these drafts thinking like, all right, let's try to get elite RBs and go from there. So in this draft, picking at the 102, took Jahmyr Gibbs, but then I couldn't help myself. Neighbors was falling, so I traded up to take Malik Neighbors at the 2-2. Ended up taking CeeDee Lamb here at the 2-11. Traded back into the early third and took Drake London. I'm taking Mecca Buka. I'm not sure if this is part of the trade or I traded back up here to Garrett Wilson. So the idea of me going running back heavy, once the bullets are flying, I kind of resorted back into last year. So we got Baker here in the 6th. Michael Penix in the 9th. I mean, back then, Tua hadn't signed yet, so you didn't know what direction my Falcons were going to go. AJ Barner, Devontae Adams, Elijah Arroyo, nothing else there. So not exactly what I envisioned. So then the next league, basically league number 47, was one of my leagues that I commissioned. It says no off season. This is actually the second no off season. This was actually the first, but besides that, so this draft, team name built different. There's a reason for that. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to incorporate what I have envisioned that I want my teams to look like going into this year. So go draft results. All right. So I'm picking at the 1-3. I take Bijan here. And some of my championship teams that I had last year had Bijan and Gibbs on them. I was getting more Bijan and Gibbs near the end of the first, early second. But my own league, I decided Gibbs is falling all the way to the 1-7. I made a trade, went up to get Gibbs at the 1-7. So then I got to start a Bijan and Gibbs. How I envisioned I want my teams to look with elite running backs. So I have no second. I'm not sure if this third is part of the draft getting up, but I assume I made another trade and I went up and got Jonathan Taylor. So right now I have a starting lineup of Bijan, Gibbs, and Jonathan Taylor. So in the 4th round, I take a kind of fallen Nico because last year he kind of went middle of the 3rd. So I take Nico at the 4-3, and I'm not sure if this is part of a trade from earlier, but Mecca Buka here at the 5-8. Then I take Saquon at the 6-3. So now I have Bijan, Gibbs, Jonathan Taylor, and Saquon. AJ Brown the 7th, or George Kittle on the 8th. Michael Penix here in the 9th. Still a believer, unfortunately, at that time. I mean, I'm still a believer now, even though we signed Tua, but That's all right. Juwan Johnson, Goddard looks better now that AJ Brown got traded. Josh Downs looks good now that Michael Pittman traded to the Steelers. Chig looks good now. Plays for the Commanders. So, I mean, he's aged well. Geno, nothing else crazy. What that rookie draft look like? Just Ted Hurst, Koziel, nothing crazy. So yeah, let's take a look at the team here. Aaron Rodgers, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Nico Collins, AJ Brown, Kelsey, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Ibuka, Michael Penix. So the QBs is a little sus, but I think this is kind of like the idea that I was going for with the overpowering running backs and kind of filling in as you go. Because, I mean, running backs aren't as deep as wide receivers. So, I mean, Bijan Gibbs, Saquon, Jonathan Taylor. And another problem I had last year was believing too much in the rookies. So, Caleb Johnson and guys like that kind of set my teams back where George Kittle here. But yeah, even like fast forward to I did a Dynasty Domain live startup league for the first time the other day. And going from, League 47 till drafting just a couple of days ago or a week ago, this Dynasty Domain league. See draft results. So in that league, I'm starting at the 101. Took Bijan. Came back around at 212. I took James Cook. Probably caught a little people off guard. And then the third went Chase Brown and Kenneth Walker. So that's 4 RBs right off the bat. I take Zay here at the 512 and Devontae. This is before the AJ Brown trade. Looking back at it now, I probably rather would have had AJ Brown over Devontae Smith, but starting with 4 running backs, I wanted to make sure I got some wide receiver ones. And then the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I fire off 3 straight QBs, kind of catch everybody else up in the QBs. I get I get Parker Washington here at the 10-1 to fill out the wide receiver core. Mark Andrews in the 11th was going to be pretty good this year. He's kind of a sleeper. Jaden Reed for Dev, Kelsey, Gunnar Helm, Zachariah Branch. But yeah, new mindset this year. And we'll see if it works. But I'm telling you, that's how I'm going to be drafting. Well, hopefully not that much more. I mean, 98 leagues is crazy. Bijan, Cook, Kenneth Walker, Chase Brown. I mean, get the running backs, elite running backs. Fill it in with, running backs that score points. And then just build from there. But we'll see how it turns out. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. 98 teams is a lot, but I enjoy doing it. So I appreciate y'all. Tune into the next episode where I go over more of my strategy that I'm going into this year with elite RBs. So hit that like, subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Catch you in the next one. Peace.